Hey there, it's Chris with Footbridge Media. Google has officially announced its plans to enhance Google search quality by eliminating spammy, low-quality content in a targeted core algorithm update. They call this a continuation of Google's helpful content update of the past, but what makes this message different? And should you be worried about your website and your contractor marketing tactics online? Let's talk about a few things here. When is this happening? This update is already underway as of this video as of March 5th of 2024. It started and it should be completely rolled out by March 19th, 2024. What is this helpful content stuff all about? The previous helpful content core update, initially released in 2022, sought to promote more authoritative voices and uniquely authentic content over the endless repetition of content without analysis or opinion. Basically junk. Around the same time helpful content was being pushed out, Google expanded its EAT concept for search quality rater guidelines to expand upon their original E expertise, A authoritative, T trust model. They expanded it to EEAT or double EAT, adding experience to make it experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, and that's the model that it is today. We're not going to get too deep into what double EAT is here. That is for sure its own video. What you do need to know is that this is a ranking signal, not a ranking factor. The difference for the sake of this video is that it's not something measurable like backlinks or page loading speed. But if you create a website and content that demonstrates the expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and the trustworthiness of you and your content, you are more likely to appeal to users and to search engines. What's different about March 2024's even more helpful content update? Well, Google mentions very specific spam types that it will tackle, including expired website spam and obituary spam, which we've actually talked about before. The more in-depth story here is that there are 3 specific new spam policies that have been published in response to these recent trends of increased spam and decreased search quality. Contractors really won't have to worry about the expired domain abuse spam policy. It involves purchasing a recently expired domain, trying to piggyback on the domain's previous reputation, even if it was in a completely different field of expertise. It would be like if an electrician bought a recently expired domain name used by a local restaurant and then stuffed it full of electrician content, hoping to get search engine exposure by writing on the coattails of the previous restaurant's SEO success. We don't do that here, and you shouldn't either. Site reputation abuse is another one that contractors really don't have to worry about. This is targeted at larger publications and content aggregators that sell space on their website as advertising. But instead of placing a graphic ad, those publications sell space for an editorial-style article. It would be like if Footbridge Media sold space and allowed third-party authors to publish content about medical device reviews. As a marketing and advertising site, it really wouldn't make sense to have a completely unrelated individual page about medical devices, and it wouldn't make sense for that to perform well just because of the overall site-wide optimization success of Footbridge Media. Footbridge Media does not engage in that type of content on its own or on behalf of our clients, so again, that's not going to be a problem for contractors. Scaled content abuse could be problematic for companies or for individuals who are outputting content at a large scale without editing or oversight. It calls out companies that use AI or automated scraping and writing methods to create content that does not have any redeeming value to a reader. They're just putting out junk that has a bunch of keywords in it. Google is not flatly suggesting that AI in content creation will be considered spam. It explicitly states that automated or human-written content is problematic spam when it doesn't, quote, add value to users. For example, if you're using AI to assist with preparing content when putting together a project post, that could be done in a way that helps to add value to users. When the content is prepared using a good prompt, based on worthwhile talking points and demonstrating the benefits of a service to a potential customer and their property should they choose to do the same, that could provide value to a user. On the other hand, if you're copy and pasting a single city page over and over again so you can make a city page for every single zip code in your state, without any additional added content or oversight or editing to suggest why this service fits that particular area well, that's going to be a much more spammy way to go. When it comes to Footbridge Media, we work hard to ensure there is specific value for users in our content, a demonstration of the value of using a contractor's services within a service area where appropriate in all of the content that we create. What Footbridge Media thinks of these updates and how they impact contractors. This is another instance of Google suggesting that search engine first content is not the goal. Instead, they know that users want to be led to content that answers their questions and addresses their needs. Searchers just don't want the most authoritative regurgitation of the same story over and over again. The key here is the search engine first differentiation. To be clear, that does not mean it is wrong to create content in a smart way that takes into account search engines. Google is still saying that content is king, but it's just being more particular about what makes good content. The difficulty here is how Google defines and interprets user value. As good as Google's getting, Google still doesn't necessarily read and comprehend content. As highlighted in a Search Engine Land article that summarizes some of the documents and slides released as part of Google's antitrust trial, Google's expertise in ranking is less about reading the content and more about recognizing patterns about how people interact with content. Google's final slide in that section simply states, when fake understanding fails, we look stupid. These new spam policy definitions are in response to recent failings in Google's spam fighting systems. How to handle your content creation moving forward. As people continue to game and exploit the system, Google will continue to bob and weave and make these kinds of updates. But still, the through line about what Google wants remains largely unchanged. Create valuable content that helps users. While Google figures out that balance and tries to better understand content and how to understand authority and expertise even when it comes from smaller companies or less prolific websites, our recommendation at Footbridge Media is to continue moving forward with the type of content that best serves prospective customers in the long run. Trying less than above board tactics will not give you long-lasting returns. If you need help making sure your online marketing efforts are always in compliance with what people and what search engines are looking for, you can learn more online at footbridgemedia.com, or you can hang out here for more contractor marketing tips and tricks.